Good. Gentleman from Georgia is recognized.
I know you've been waiting for this one moment, General Langley. I heard the testimony that you gave to Representative Gates, and I want to kind of give you a second go at this, just because I know you made 4 stars for a reason in the Marine Corps. That's not an easy thing to do, and AFRICOM is a very challenging environment. I know our intent is never to create bad guys who are in leadership positions, and yet it has happened several times in our history. It's happened famously in Somalia. And you and I have suffered the consequences from that in our careers and the enemies that we've combated with. My plea to you, and then I'll give you your ability to respond, is that we revise our position on how we train and what kind of accountability we have, because it is obvious to me that we have created some situations, especially in AFRICOM, where we've gone against people we've literally trained. And so I do want you to kind of maybe just give us an insight on how you think you can approach this with the collaboration of Congress and the President and everybody else who's in our chain of command to mitigate that for the future.
Congressman, thanks for the opportunity. So just going forward, as we look at our IMET program holistically, we'll probably need to add more capacity to it, because that's the last thing we want to do or want to see is some episodic event, such as a coup by someone that we formerly had trained in the past. So just broadening on that and focusing and broadening the curriculum that focuses on civilian-led militaries. Within that, we had that discussion over at National University amongst our partners at the Africa Leaders Summit, and where it was led by the Secretary of the Army and also representation from Senegal, General Sisi and myself, and where we pounded the table on this is a must. There was over 43 countries in attendance to that. So more of that. So as we focus on civilian-led governance, civilian-led militaries that actually fully endorse democratic norms and democratic values, and holistically core values, just to prevent this from happening.
Okay. Do you feel like you have the intelligence that and I'm not talking about personal intelligence, I'm talking about military intelligence, that required to decipher who's the good guys and the bad guys? And do you have the personnel that required in this very robust, dynamic AFRICOM scenario?
Yes, the lay vetting process is in effect, and we take that very seriously, and we're very, very deliberate in our processes of vetting our African partners as they come into the IMET programs.
Okay. General Kurilla, just real quick question. In looking, we talked about keeping Iran from having nuclear capabilities, as far as obviously they have nuclear capabilities for energy, but as far as weaponry, we know what Israel's opinion is on this, and you stated yourself that we want to make sure that we avoid that at all costs. What does that mean? And I'm not talking about from a classified standpoint, but what are we willing to engage? How militarily, and we know politically we're engaged, and we can only do so much when we talk about negotiations, but how do we, from a military aspect, and maybe I'm going too far when I say unclassified, is there a way to posture that would create a scenario where they would back down?
Congressman, I really do recommend that that's in a classified setting if we talk about any of the Iranian nuclear program.
Fair enough. Doctor, do you have anything to add?
Not on that, but if I may, on the issue of military training, I think it would be a real, not just a tragedy, but it would be a great loss to American national security if the very regrettable fact of instances of military abroad who've been trained by the United States in IMET and other programs undermine what is an extraordinarily important program. There is no better way to build capacity and relationships among our foreign partner countries than the extraordinary examples of American military, professional American military, who fulfill their duties as American citizens. And you heard from the generals that they believe that this is a vital program. the civilian leadership in DOD fully supports the importance of these military education programs and takes very, very seriously the need to make sure that we are training the right people as well.
And thank you. I just want to add for the record that I believe that we also have to be very careful about an isolationist mentality because of a couple bad apples that obviously have bad results. Thank you. With that, I yield.
I think the